Madison Cole stood at the altar in her wedding dress, surrounded by white roses and guests waiting expectantly. The live quartet played softly, but her fiancé, Chase, was nowhere to be seen. Minutes passed. Whispers grew. Her father stepped aside, then returned with a grim look. The officiant faced Madison. "The groom isn't coming," he said quietly. Gasps filled the air. Her mother began to cry. Madison froze, heart sinking. Her perfect day was falling apart, right there in front of everyone. Then Eli Walker, her childhood best friend, stepped forward and took her hand. "You don't have to face this alone," he said softly. All eyes turned to them. In that moment, Madison realized she wasn't completely alone after all. Madison Cole had always been the girl who did everything right, growing up in a Southern family that prized appearances above all else. She learned early to be the perfect daughter, polite, responsible and careful, never to rock the boat. She followed every rule, kept her grades up, and later she became the ideal fiancé to Chase Reynolds. Chase was the golden boy, wealthy, charming, and well-liked by everyone. But behind his polished smile, he was distant and emotionally cold. Madison spent years trying to earn his love, convincing herself that if she just did everything perfectly, he would finally open up to her. Professionally, Madison had just started her own wedding planning business. It was a dream she'd worked hard for, fueled by a love for beautiful moments and the hope of creating something meaningful after years of living under other people's expectations. But now, standing abandoned at the altar, that dream felt like it was crumbling along with her heart. Eli Walker had been her closest friend since childhood. They grew up just 2 blocks apart in their small Georgia town, inseparable through school and adolescence. He was funny and loyal, the one person who saw the real Madison beneath the polished surface. After high school, Eli left for New York to build a small tech startup, chasing a different kind of life. Recently, he'd come back home to care for his sick father and reconnect with his roots. Though he'd always cared deeply for Madison, Eli never made a move. He believed she was out of reach, destined for a life far beyond his quiet hometown. Instead, he stayed in the background, steady and dependable. Now, with Chase gone and Madison's life unraveling in public, everything was shifting. Her family wanted to handle the scandal quietly, to avoid shame and gossip. They pushed her to move on quickly, to keep up appearances, and to forget about the humiliation. But Madison's heart was broken, her trust shattered. She struggled not only with public embarrassment, but with the painful realization that the man she loved had never truly been there for her. Eli was different. He didn't try to fix her or tell her what to do. He just showed up, listening, offering quiet support, and reminding her that she wasn't alone. For the first time in a long time, Madison felt a flicker of hope. Maybe there was a way forward that didn't involve pretending or hiding. Maybe, with Eli beside her, she could start to rebuild, not just her wedding plan, but herself. Madison became a meme overnight. Runaway Groom Bride was everywhere. On Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, strangers made jokes about her face at the altar, turning her heartbreak into entertainment. One clip of her standing frozen, bouquet shaking in her hands went viral. People laughed, others pitied her, but no one knew the full story. Then, the truth dropped. A gossip blog posted an article titled, "Cold Feet or Cold Heart, the Real Reason Chase Left Madison." It claimed that days before the wedding, Chase found out Madison had dated someone in college who had a criminal record, a guy she'd seen briefly during her sophomore year. The post said Chase was humiliated and embarrassed, that his pride couldn't handle the idea of marrying someone with a past. Madison stared at the screen, her heart pounding. That relationship had been years ago. It hadn't been serious, and the guy had served his time and moved on. She'd told no one outside her close circle, except her mother. The betrayal hit like a slap. Madison drove straight to her parents' house, still in sweats, hair pulled back, eyes swollen from days of crying. Her mother opened the door, already tense. "You told them, didn't you?" Madison asked, her voice low, cold. Her mother hesitated, then crossed her arms. "They had a right to know, Madison. Before my wedding. They're a respectable family," her mother said tightly. "You were about to marry into them. It was going to come out eventually." Madison stared at her, speechless. "You didn't even tell me. You let me walk down that aisle like nothing was wrong." Her mother didn't flinch. "I was trying to protect you from making a mistake." Madison's chest felt hollow. You didn't protect me. You humiliated me. You handed him the excuse he needed. Her mother looked away. This is about more than your feelings. Our name, our reputation. Madison didn't hear the rest. She turned and walked out without another word. Back at her apartment, she packed what she could. The house felt too heavy with shame and silence. She couldn't stay, not with people who cared more about saving face than saving her. Eli showed up within the hour. He didn't ask questions, just helped her fold her clothes, carry her boxes, and load the trunk. He drove her to a friend's guest house on the other side of town, quiet, private, and finally hers. The next few days were a blur. She couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. Her phone buzzed constantly. Friends, reporters, clients. Madison muted it all. Her business was suffering, but so was she. Eli kept showing up. Mornings with coffee, evenings with takeout. Some nights they sat on the porch in silence. Others, she cried. He never judged, never tried to fix it, just sat beside her, steady as ever. And slowly, Madison began to breathe again. With Eli, she didn't have to be perfect, didn't have to smile through it. He reminded her who she was before the pressure, before Chase, before her life became something she was constantly trying to prove. In the middle of her worst days, he became the one person who made space for her pain and didn't try to turn it into something prettier. Clients began cancelling without explanation. Madison opened her calendar one morning and saw a string of cancelled appointments. One by one, names disappeared. Calls went unanswered. Emails bounced back with tight apologies and vague excuses. By the end of the week, 2 of her biggest investors pulled out of her business, citing unfortunate publicity and brand concerns. She sat on the floor of the guest house, laptop open, staring at the shrinking numbers on her dashboard. Everything she'd worked for, her dream business, her reputation, her future, was unraveling. Her mother still wouldn't talk to her, and when her father finally did call, it wasn't to ask how she was feeling. "Just call Chase," he said, as if it were the simplest solution. "Make this go away. We can smooth it over. You two were good together." Maybe it was just nerves. Madison hung up without replying. In the eyes of her parents, of the media, of her clients, her worth was still tied to a man. Without Chase, she was just the abandoned bride, the broken picture, the liability. But Eli stayed. He knocked every morning with coffee, sat with her through quiet afternoons, helped her answer difficult business emails when she didn't feel strong enough. One night, the power blinked out during a storm. Candles lit the living room. Rain tapped against the windows. She was sitting cross-legged on the couch in sweats, and he was beside her on the floor, back leaning against the couch, fiddling with the broken zipper of his jacket. He spoke softly, like he'd been carrying it for years. "I loved you since we were 16, Eli said. "You had braces, and you wore those ridiculous orange flip-flops every day, even when it rained." She laughed a little, her chest tightening. "I didn't say anything because I knew you were headed somewhere big, and I didn't want to lose what we had." Her eyes shimmered, tears pressing behind them. "You were always safe," she whispered, "but maybe I thought I had to feel unsafe, to feel seen." They fell into a silence that felt full, not empty. Later that night, they played an old record and danced in the living room. No music from speakers, just the soft spin of vinyl and the rhythm of their breathing. Her head rested against his chest. His hand hovered gently at the small of her back. Their faces drew closer, almost a heartbeat away, but she pulled back. "I can't jump from one man to the next," she said quietly, "even if he's better." Eli nodded, eyes heavy but understanding. "I'm not going anywhere." A few days later, there was a knock on the guest house door. Chase, flowers in one hand, regret in the other. He wore a designer suit and a rehearsed smile. "I panicked," he said after a long silence. "My parents were pressuring me. Your mum said some things. I felt trapped, and I made the biggest mistake of my life." Madison stood by the doorway, arms crossed, staring. He stepped closer. "I still love you. I do. I just didn't know how to handle it." Her mother called later that evening. "Let him explain. You two had something beautiful. Maybe this is your chance to close the chapter the right way." Everyone seemed to have a plan for her healing. Fix it, make it neat, get back the life they'd already imagined for her. But Madison didn't know what she felt anymore. Her mind told her to salvage what she could, make the mess disappear. But her heart was silent. She was stuck between the man who broke her and the friend who had quietly kept her whole. Her parents planned the dinner like it was a peace treaty. White tablecloth, wine glasses shining, every seat placed with purpose. Madison had no interest in going, but her father insisted. Just come. Let people see everything's being handled. Eli was invited too, as a friend. The word stung when her mother said it, like he was an accessory in her recovery, not the reason she hadn't completely fallen apart. When they arrived, Chase was already there, standing tall in the center of the room, looking polished and charming, like the rumors hadn't touched him at all. Madison's chest tightened. She hadn't seen him since the day he walked out. Not in person. Dinner was stiff. Her father made small talk. Her mother fussed with the candles. Eli sat quietly, watching her more than he ate. Madison barely touched her plate. Then Chase stood. He tapped his glass. Everyone went silent. Madison, he began, voice thick with practiced emotion. I made the biggest mistake of my life walking away from you. He reached into his jacket and pulled out a ring box. Not the original one, a new one, bigger. I let fear and pressure get in my head, but I still love you. I always have. Let's start over. Let's fix this. Together. He knelt. The room held its breath. Her mother beamed, eyes glassy. Her father gave a firm nod of approval. Even the servers paused near the wall, waiting. All eyes turned to Madison, and something in her cracked wide open. She stood slowly, quietly. Then boom, she exploded. You don't love me, she said, voice sharp, shaking. You loved the version of me that fit your life. The bride who looked good on your arm. The woman who checked the box. She turned to her mother, tears rising. And you sold me out. You gave away something that wasn't yours. My past, my story, just to protect your reputation. Gasps. Her father shifted uncomfortably, clearing his throat. Madison's voice softened as she turned to Eli. Her heart finally caught up with her mouth. And you, she whispered, you loved me when I couldn't even look at myself, when there was nothing perfect left in me. Silence. Then she dropped her napkin on the table and walked out, barefoot. The rain had started to fall. Outside, she stepped into the street, soaking wet, mascara running. The heels she'd worn sat forgotten on the porch. A few seconds later, Eli followed her. No umbrella, no jacket, just him, walking into the storm. They stood under a streetlight, drenched, breathing hard. I don't want to be your rebound, Eli said, water running down his face. I want to be your beginning. Madison looked at him, really looked. The boy who had always been there, the man who waited quietly, not for a reward, but because he cared. Her voice broke. Then walk with me, but let me find myself first. No kiss, just a nod, a step forward, and they walked, together, into the rain, into the unknown, into something real. Madison has rebranded her business, now specializing in second chances, elopements, vow renewals, and healing ceremonies. The old branding, picture-perfect, high-budget weddings with strict timelines, was gone. Now, everything felt softer, more personal. She met clients in cozy cafes instead of glass offices. She listened more. She built custom moments for people starting over just like she had. She named her new service, Begin Again by Madison Cole. The tagline was simple, because not every love story starts at the beginning. She began speaking at women's retreats and small business events. Her most requested talk was titled, The Day My Wedding Fell Apart and Why I'm Grateful. She spoke calmly, openly. She didn't bash Chase. She didn't pretend Eli fixed everything. She told the truth, that sometimes you need life to fall apart so you can stop pretending. At one event, a woman stood up, shaking, and said, You gave me permission to leave him. Madison hugged her after, both of them crying. Her relationship with Eli was quiet and steady. They weren't rushing anything. No labels, no pressure, just two people choosing each other day by day. They cooked together, or tried. Madison still burned toast. Eli always forgot the salt. They'd argue about who left the light on, or why the Wi-Fi kept glitching. But every argument ended with laughter or holding hands in silence. They were building something solid, not perfect, not flashy, real. Sometimes Madison caught herself wondering, what if I had married Chase? But the thought didn't bring pain anymore, just gratitude. That version of her, the version that would have said yes, just to keep the peace, no longer existed. Her family slowly began to change too. Her mother sent a long email one evening. No flowers, no dramatic speech, just a subject line. I'm sorry. She admitted it all. The control, the pride. the betrayal. I thought I was helping you, the message read, but really I was managing my own fear. You didn't embarrass us. We embarrassed ourselves. Madison didn't respond right away. It took time. But when she did, it was simple. Thank you for finally seeing me. Her father started calling once a week. Not long calls, just check-ins. How's business? How's Eli? Need anything? It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. And that was the theme of Madison's life now. Not perfection, not recovery, reinvention, on her own terms. Madison stands on a beach at sunrise, barefoot in a wedding dress, staging a healing photo shoot for a client. The sky is soft with pastel colors, the ocean calm and quiet. The sand is cool beneath her feet. She walks slowly, letting the wind carry the loose ends of her dress behind her. It's not about beauty today. It's about freedom, about peace. She's modeling for the bride, a woman who came to her shattered from a past marriage and wanted a symbolic shoot to mark her new beginning. Madison offered to go first, to show her that standing alone in white doesn't mean you were left behind. Sometimes it means you started again. Off to the side, Eli stands with a cup of coffee, watching. He's dressed casually, hands in his pockets, eyes steady on her. He doesn't say anything, doesn't need to. His presence is enough. Quiet, strong, always there. Madison stops at the edge of the water. She lifts her face toward the rising sun, eyes closed, breathing in the moment. The camera clicks gently, capturing the strength in her posture, the calm in her expression, and says to herself, being left didn't break me. It unmasked me. I thought I needed someone to choose me at the altar, but I needed to choose myself in the mirror first. And when I did, the right love didn't run. It walked beside me. She turns from the ocean and walks back across the sand, each step firm. She reaches Eli, and he offers her the coffee. She takes it, smiles, and they just stand there. No dramatic kiss, no music swell. Just a quiet morning with two people who finally see each other clearly. You are not defined by who leaves you. You are defined by who you become when they do. Real love doesn't fix you. It sees you whole. Thanks for watching till the end. Your support means everything to us. Remember, real love doesn't fix you. It sees you whole. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories. Check out the videos on your screen. You won't want to miss them.